Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with a Snowflakes Viewpoint. And I think I put the mic on this time. You guys can confirm to me in the chat. I hope you all had a lovely week and good to see everybody. We've got a lot of news to cover, obviously, and we have, oh boy, I've taken the whole weekend off, guys. As you guys know, I needed a bit of a break. I was burnt out, came back from holiday, and then I had a marathon of work. Not just normal work, but obviously content for you guys. I was just pumping out and a lot of content for you guys, and I hope you guys really got enjoyed. Oh, how the orb, yep, it's the orb is there, guys, don't worry, we'll get plenty of the orb in later on, guys, and it will definitely be visible in the after chat we will look at later on. So, oh boy, right, let's say hello to who we got in the chat. We got a lot to cover, so let's start right at the top. Duke Vengeance says, Squire, I have just finished with the weights. I am buff yet, or am I still a smelly ball of fat? I think you're perfectly alright, Duke. Hope you're well, good to see you. Leeds, good to see you. Good evening, Regan. Hi, Duke. In case you want to seek vengeance on me, I better say buff. Okay, good to see you, Leeds. Alistair Keir, good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome. Ginger's Giraffe, how are you? Good to see you. I hope you're well. I've got a very good video dropping tomorrow, Gingers. You'll like. It's about you'll definitely be an interesting one at 3 o'clock UK time. About we talk a lot here on this side of the pond about how much money's being wasted during the pandemic. Ooh, we've got nothing when it compares to the US with what I'm about to drop tomorrow, guys. Definitely worth checking that out. Let's see, everyone's saying hello to everyone. Good evening, Sir Larry. Good to see you there. Hope you're well. Yep, I'm still fat. It's the medication, I swear, says Duke. No, don't say that about yourself. You're just big boned. I feel as if I've seen several of you already today. Oh, I've missed I'm really sorry to say this, guys, but I'm not going to, based on my, apart from maybe Thursday morning, which is my day off this week, I'm going to miss every single Label Social morning brew this week because of my shift patterns. I'm doing morning shifts. I'm doing all morning shifts, guys, so I'm not going to be able to be attending any of them. I should let Graham Hughes know, to be fair. Lefty Boater, good to see you there, Lefty. Hope you're well. One Angry Pagan, good to see you there. Hope you're well as well. Sophie Schultz, good to see you, Sophie. Hope you're well. Have we got anyone else? What's that you say we're going to leave? I've said a lot of things, to be fair, so Larry. Hey, everyone say hello to everyone. Number 3, good to see you, number 3. Thank you again for sharing my videos today. Much appreciated on social media. I really do appreciate that. Mad Monk is here with the spanner. Good evening, Mad Monk. I hope you're well. Hope you had a nice weekend too. Simon says 51. Happy Berlusconi exit day, everyone. Hope you're well, Simon. Yes, Berlusconi kicked the bucket, didn't he? No more bunga bunga parties. And everybody's just saying hello to everyone. Right, so let's go straight into it, guys, shall we? Make sure I get this all right. Have I got the right article up? Nope. No, wait, is that the right one? Am I in the right one? Yes, that is the right one. I'm playing with the buttons, guys, like a certain Lee Khan would do. Guys, you don't want to miss this Wednesday Snowflake show. It will be the last one for a while this Wednesday, guys, and we will explain on the show why it's going to be the last one for a while. So do not miss that show, guys. This Wednesday 9 o'clock, the Snowflake show is going to be a while before we do one again, guys, and we will explain on the show just so you guys know. So we start off. So obviously Boris Johnson resigning, I completely missed that. Then Nadine Dorries resigning, missed that. I missed then another Tory MP decided to follow suit. Missed that. So we've got loads of by-elections coming up now. Then there was the whole kerfuffle over Nicola Sturgeon, arrested, not arrested. Oh my god, that was just an absolute crazy, that was. And I was just like, oh my god, just throwing everything all over the place, guys. So I wanted to do with this one first, guys, to kind of give us a bit of like, why is this all kind of bit of an explainer to kind of break things down to us. And it's from Sky News. So it's, who are the Privilege Committee MPs who is investigating whether Boris Johnson misled Parliament over Partygate? 30, good to see you there. Hello all Schultz, good to see you there. Bonjour to you too. I am behind on YouTube videos. I have been working all day today, come home, doing lots of YouTube videos, and I got this today. So I will catch up on your videos. I promise. I promise. I'm behind on YouTube videos. I will catch up on them, guys. Right, so what is this about? The Privileges Committee was the body investigating whether Boris Johnson misled Parliament over partygate. But who are the members of the body, and what did the former Prime Minister say to them in March? Boris Johnson forced much of his wrath on the House of Commons Privilege Committee when resigning as an MP. In his letter, Mr Johnson said the committee's purpose from the beginning has been to find me guilty, regardless of the fact. He added that this was the very definition of a kangaroo court, guys. It was a kangaroo court. Feels very Trumpianism, doesn't it, guys? In response, the committee said it had followed the procedures and the mandate of the House at all times and will continue to do so. Mr Johnson has departed from the proceeds of the House and has impugned the integrity of the House by his statement. The committee will meet on Monday to conclude the inquiry and to publish its report promptly. So what is the Privilege Committee? The House of Commons Privilege Committee is a cross-party group of MPs which is there to consider specific matters relating to privileges referred by the House. Privileges in this instance is the ability of MPs to speak freely in the House of Commons without the threat of legal prosecution and the ability to self-regulate. In this case, the committee is regulating whether Boris Johnson deliberately misled them, something that would equate to contempt of Parliament. It was once merged with the Committee on Standards, but they have since been split, with the Standards body now including members who are not MPs. The Standard Briefs is more broad and relates to matters of conduct. So who is on the Privilege Committee? So here is the members, guys, if you didn't know. So Harriet Harman is obviously the head of the committee. Then you have Andy Carter of Conservative, Alberto Costa, Conservative MP, Sir Bernard Jenkins, Conservative MP, Sir Charles Walker, Conservative MP, Yoving. You guys know I'm terrible with names. I'm just waiting for you guys to mock me with my wording. Yoveng Fargu, Labour MP, and Alan Doris of the Lib Dems. So you can clearly see this from this group here that the vast four of the committee here are Conservative MPs, 2 Labour and 1 Lib Dems. You know, on a former Prime Minister of the Conservative Party, former leader of the Conservative Party. Seems reasonably fair, if you ask me. That seems like a very fair group of people. Probably would disagree with some of you, but I think that seems fair. It is made up of 7 MPs, 4 Conservatives, 2 from Labour, and 1 from the SNP. SNP, I'm useless, guys. I thought Lib Dems. I don't know nothing about politics, guys. I'm absolutely pointless with this. Because I think yellow shows what I know, guys. The MPs are voted onto the committee by their colleagues and reflect their political makeup of the House. Labour's Sir Chris Bryant is normally the chair, but rescues himself from his investigation as he has already made a number of public comments about Partygate. Instead, senior Labour backbenchers and the mother of the House, Harriet Harman, took his place. Other members of Tories are Andy Carr, Alberto Costa, Sir Bernard Jenkins and Sir Charles Walker, as well as Labour's Yvonne Fargu and the SNP's Alan Doris. So what are their powers? So technically the only powers the committee has is to issue a report for the Commons MPs to consider. In its findings, it can conclude that an individual has been found to have committed a contempt in misleading the House, or it can recommend sanctions, ranging from an oral or written apology through to suspensions or a specific period, or even expulsion from the Commons. But it falls to MPs to decide whether to accept the findings of the report and through any sanctation. See, there's a lot of chatter here. What's going on here? Saying Evine, everyone saying hello to everyone. All hail the Spanish, says Sir Larry. Everyone saying good evening, good evening. Sophie Schultz says if the walking scarecrow gets banned from Parliament for life, I think he will become another Farage grifter type. I'm assuming you're referring to Johnson. I do have a short story where on the Sunak potentially maybe looking to ban him from the Conservative Party, possibly. Now, I've got a shorts video dropping on that tomorrow, guys. No, my better half wants to talk, says Verti. Well, they want to talk, Everyone's saying hello. Our democracy is doing its job for once. says one angry pagan. I hope so. I hope so. I started wearing shorts today. Warm weather. Good idea, number 3. It is very warm out here. I am in a baked oven in this where I am right now. Where did I stop? But it forced the MPs to decide whether they accept the findings of the report and follow throughout any sanctions. If MPs agreed to a suspension of 10 sitting days or 14 calendar days upwards, it would have triggered a recall petition for Mr Johnson, allowing his constituents in Uxbridge and South Ruislip to vote on whether to hold a by-election for his seat. Now this is academic after Mr Johnson announcing he's standing down, but the House will still vote on the report. What did Boris Johnson tell them? We could play the clip. I'm not gonna. We don't need to hear him, guys. I'm sure you guys have heard enough of Boris Johnson as it is. Good evening, Vincent. Hope you're well. Duke, good to see you there as well. Hope you guys are both well. Hope you had a lovely weekend. Hope you all had a lovely weekend. Can't say the same in British politics, that's for sure. Boris Johnson took part in a blockbuster event session before the Privilege Committee earlier this year. He started unconventionally by swearing an oath to the Bible to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. This meant the testimony was subject to Perjury Act 1911, so lying or proving a false account would be a criminal offence. Not long afterwards, Mr Johnson told the committee that, hand on heart, I did not lie to the House. He said it was absolutely essential for work purposes to have a leaving due for some members of Number 10 staff who left during the pandemic. At one point, he appeared to lose his temper while defending what happened in Number 10 during COVID. Asked if he would have advised anyone else in the country in the time to hold a large-scale social gathering in his garden, he insisted it was not a large-scale. It was not a large social gathering. It was a gathering. I really must persist in this point. People who said that they were partying in lockdown simply don't know what they were talking about, he said. Oh dear, oh dear. Guys, are you really believing him? I don't. One of his main defences was that he received assurances from senior members of staff of the events were not breaking the rules. The former MP also attacked the committee, saying their actions were manifestly unfair. Oh dear. Boris telling the truth. Yeah, but he said he didn't lie, Duke. He didn't lie. I hope he didn't enjoy too quickly in this heat. Oh, mate, what's happened? I passed my first street today. Why did you do that naked, Shorts? That's a bit extreme. BJ's libraries. Boris Johnson's library should be banned for life. Yeah, he should. He's gonna walk away. Like I've said, I don't know if I've dropped it in the videos today, but I've said he's not going anywhere, guys. I just thinking like I've seen some YouTubers, 1 or 2 people saying he's riding off to the sunset, he's gone, God, good riddance and all that kind of stuff. I'm not buying that he's gone, guys. I'm really not. I'm not buying this he's done. Like, this is like saying Trump is done. Like, just because, like, when he's, I just don't buy it, guys. I really don't. I don't know about you guys, but I really don't buy this idea that Boris Johnson is done and dusted. I'm just not feeling that, you know. Nice and you're like, I'm not going to read that. Madbunk yucked me too up for a while now white, not blue. Graham dropped a moment of truth about Johnson possibly getting banned for life. Yeah, I've seen I've seen the title. I haven't watched it, Sophie. I'll definitely be checking that out. I definitely need to check that out. That's for sure. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you even want to think about Boris Johnson, I don't blame you guys for doing it. But everyone's favourite topic next, guys. This is the one from the iNews. Brexit! This is from the iNews, guys. Brexit deal can't be renegotiated by the UK's next PM, EU's officials indicate. It would be a very long shot to try and reopen the agreement signed by Boris Johnson, officials warned. Oh dear. It's a bit of a short one, this one, but I think it's still Brexit related. I haven't seen anything like this from others, but here we go. hopes that the next government might be able to substantially renegotiate the Brexit deal in a bid to boost the economy have been dashed by senior EU officials who said it will not reopen. Westminster has been increasingly looking towards the planning review of the Trade and Corporations Agreement, the TCA, as a point in which the next Prime Minister might seek to deepen the UK's cooperation with the EU, with the prospect of a Labour government looking more likely. Car manufacturers have also called for a renegotiation of around the so-called rules of origin, warning that the UK's automotive industry faces an existential threat without changes to the regulation on sourcing parts due to the costs involved. Can I get that? I'm just seeing, guys, if I can get that. That's a bit better. Just a bit more closer for you guys. Just wish my avatar wasn't in the way there. It's a bit annoying. Can I? Oh, it is a bit. Oh, it's not too bad. You guys can. It's a bit closer so you guys can see it. Brexit bungo party. Anyone? Well, he's up in heaven or hell, or down in hell, isn't he? So there won't be a bunga party, but Bojo party. I'll party when I'm confident that he's not going to come back. To be fair, I'll party when I know for certain. New party, Brexit, Bojo part. Yeah, there is that talk, obviously, of him reforming his own political party. To be fair, guys, there was that I think I'm pretty sure I covered it today about him potentially forming his own political party. He's definitely got the power to do it. You know, he'll get the supporters to do it. Whether or not he'll be able to challenge, I mean, it's a big ask considering the system we have. But if they change the political system to proportional representation, they could get a saying, you know, in future. I wouldn't say they would get control in government or anything like that. I think that's a bit far-fetched, but they could definitely get some numbers, and it should be of thoughtful concern. Good evening, Joe. Hope you're well. Good to see you there. I'm just going to do a little something while you're there. Bloop. I'll just play with some buttons there. Joe, listen, I can't thank you enough for you comment on all my videos, and I don't have any way to thank you, so all I can do is give you a spanner. That's the only thing I can give you. That's just for honestly, mate, for making the time to watch all my videos and making the comments that you make on them. I really do appreciate it, mate. Thank you. You're always commenting on my videos, and it's really insightful stuff when you do, so thank you for that. So use the spanner wisely. There are other spanners that can help you if need be. Right, back to the Brexit thing. Brexit stuff. So where was we? So, but EU officials poured cold water on the idea that the review of the TCA, which was negotiated by Boris Johnson, could prove a pivotal point that could bring about fundamental changes. The European Commission Vice President Markovos Stekovic, you guys, I know I'm terrible with names, said the EU wanted the review to take place a year later than previously thought, in 2026, and warned it would only cover the implementation of the deal rather than the wholesale changes. Mr. Stekovic said customs checks at the border would likely remain, but stressed the TCA had not been used to its full potential. He told the EU-UK forum that the article doesn't constitute a commitment to reopening the TCA or to negotiate supplementary agreements. The TCA will simply not be able to recreate any kind of notion of the single market. His comments were echoed by Stefan Furin, head of the Commission unit on the TCA, who said change to the deal would be a very long shot. It's a review, not a revision, not a renewal, not even an amendment of any sort, he told the event. So essentially, guys, any kind of, like, when Labour come into power, it's like, yeah, we're going to shoot straight into the single market. Not going to happen. Not going to happen, guys. It's very, very annoying to say the least. But at the end of the day, that's kind of where we're at, aren't we? Frustrating. It's very frustrating. But yep, we're stuck in our position for a good while. So I've got not one, not two, but I've got three funny videos, because I've missed out on all the funny videos as well. I've been so busy. So have I got? Oh, let me make sure I get. Hold on a second. I'm just going to switch to this, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to be playing with some buttons here, which is not ideal. Mode. That should be okay. Nope, it's not going to be okay. Give me a second, guys. I'm just running into some technical difficulties. Or maybe I can do it with no cam. Maybe I can do it with no cam. Yeah, I can do it with no cam. Okay, well, I've got a funny video for you guys. So, just without the camera, but that's fine. You don't need to see my face for this. Right, let me know if you guys can't hear it in the chat. Okay, there is a bit of a delay in the chat, but just let me know if you can't hear it.
So, what are your plans for today?
In a world where there were no jobs.
Oh, great. Movie trailer voice. Did you get that email I sent you about the promotions company? They're looking for people?
One man couldn't be arsed.
Look, I can't pay your rent again this month, right? Okay, I can barely get my own.
From the producers of No Milk in the Fridge.
Oh, come on, seriously?
And the smash hit, The Blocked Toilet.
You're joking me.
Comes a film the critics are calling breathtaking and definitely a film.
Yeah, I'm off to work. Claire's coming over later.
Get ready for really boring dialogue.
And she's staying over.
Will not contain scenes of a sexual nature.
Yeah, you don't know that. There could be scenes of explicit nudity this time. Don't leave the place in a mess.
From a faraway land came a companion from the apartment upstairs.
Who's this guy?
All that stood between these two brave souls and 5 p.m. was 24 cans of budget beer. This Monday, Darren Keane and Colin Smith are
unemployed. Thank you.
Really don't like your flatmate. It's a prick.
Yeah. Okay, stick them in the fridge. Mario Kart or GoldenEye?
Mario Kart!
Good call.
Doomed up!
Hey, we're Foil Arms and Hog. We have a brand new sketch.
Foils, arms and hubs, guys. Brilliant stuff. If you're not a subscriber, guys, go check out their stuff. Absolutely fantastic. You guys say technical glitches. Yes. An orb. I have a kitty. Sometimes she seems to orbit around my head, especially in the morning when she wants her treats. Oh, you have a kitty, Jow. Oh, make sure you take look after it. I've got a 15-year-old cat. I've got a 15-year-old cat here. We've got 2 cats here, and she's getting on, guys. Very old. Jow's now getting an orb. I didn't realise the spanners were an orb. You can probably see I'm sweating now in here, guys. I've had the windows and everything open. I've had to shut everything, because there is noise outside, so I am sweating a little bit. I don't think the French will say welcome back anytime soon. No, they won't, Vincent. No, they won't. Manners Reganelite is the master orb here. They're all flying around in the sky, it seems. Oh, God. Are we all Orbeez then? Yes. If you want to call yourself Orbeez, if you really want to. There you go. The orb is still there, guys. There we go. I should do this when I'm in this screen, to be fair. Unit all over again, getting flashbacks. Larry and Paul did a brilliant skit called Very British Network News. I think that just dropped like about 20-30 minutes ago. If Max we may drop it on Wednesday's show. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You're not related to Prince Andrew. I hope not. As far as I'm aware, I have no correlation with Prince Andrew. Just to put that information out there. Right. Next article, guys. This one from the BBC. You know, like I like to switch things up, guys. MPs' misconduct cases need professional HR, says former whips. Former senior party whips have told the BBC a professional HR system is needed in Parliament to handle sexual misconduct allegations against MPs. So guys, we know that sexual misconduct is going on. It's rife in both parties, really. I'd say more in the Conservative than Labour, but it is happening. We know it's happening in Parliament, and there's not enough being done about it, to be fair, and it's pretty disgusting, to say the least, guys. It comes ahead of a debate on Monday whether to ban some MPs under investigation for violence or sexual offences from Parliament. That should not be a debate. It should be it should be a simple answer of yes. Currently, there are no single authority at Westminster that deals with sexual misconduct cases against MPs. Well, that should change, because it's a very serious issue. Whips are senior MPs in charge of their party's discipline and welfare, but they are often expected to handle misconduct cases. Some allegations are reported to Parliament's independent complaint and grievance scheme, some to party or whips, some to the Common Speaker or Leader of the House, and some to the police. So there's no like. So they report some to the independent complaint scheme, some to the party or whips, and some to the Common Speaker. So there's no like, who is the one you definitely go to? Like, who's the one you definitely go to? Okay, you can go to this person, or you can go to this person. You can go to the police, and it's just like, can we have a fixed person or organisation you go to for dealing with this? It's just a bit ridiculous, if you ask me. It's very, very annoying. The BBC has spoken to multiple senior MPs and former MPs who have served as whips for different parties. Many argue Parliament needs a formal HR system to stop allegations being dealt with in different ways on a case-by-case basis. There should be a better HR system for the employment of members' staff, said a former Chief Whip, who wanted not to be identified. MPs currently hire their staff directly, but the former Chief Whip argued they should be employed in the same way as ministers, special advisors. Although they are appointed by the minister, they are currently employed, and they come under the HR umbrella and the rest of the civil service. Yeah, when you go into the civil, you pretty much go into that way, to be fair. Good evening, Tories. Get tasered. Hope you're well. Cat rescued. It's 13 years old. Had her for 5 years. Ah, lovely. UAE or B. So make Brexit work is actually the reality we have to deal with then. Well, if the EU are saying we gotta wait, one angry pagan, we gotta wait, can't kind of twist their arms, but you know, things can always change in 6 months, 12 months, 1 year, 2 year. Things can change. You never know. Power abuse often, says number 3. Exactly when you need to debate to remove criminal MPs, there is something wrong. Yep, absolutely. Can't have a cat for the same reasons they hate me. They just love to try and scratch me. Well, I can't explain that, Mad Monk. So, everyone's saying hello to Tories Get Tasered. Yep. Although they are appointed by the minister, they are centrally employed, and it comes under the HR umbrella of the rest of the civil service. That would give MP staff the protection being able to speak to somebody else other than the employers, where it might be a very small office. So the employer is not necessarily the member of Parliament, but the House authorities, they said. So that was former Conservative MP Anne Millen, who was Deputy Chief Whip from 2015 to 2017. Others the BBC spoke to who served as whips also said they wanted HR beefed up to help resolve grievances and other issues, citing a lack of clarity and training for whips on how to handle such cases beyond directly individuals to complaint processes, support services, or even the police. The former Deputy Chief Whip, I'm losing my word. Excuse me. Former Deputy Chief Whip Anne Middleton told the BBC, in a short episode of time I was involved with the allegations against Charlie I cannot say that name. I'm not saying that word, guys. I can't say it. I was clear that the Whip's office was not the place to consider issues such as this. Well then, where is the place? You know, be specific. You guys need to clean this up. It's just ridiculous. I'm pushing my Labour MC to hold Boris Johnson and his mates through the courts. She tosses the party line. She toes the party line. Yeah, I'm sure she's saying something in the Labour Party. I'm sure she is. I think we should all complain to the police about Tory corruption and mass complaints. Could do, Kia, but there's corruption in the Met Police as well, isn't there? You can help people through difficult periods in their lives, but the whip's officers are not equipped and don't have the expertise to deal with complaints of this nature. Again, I ask the question, where do they go then? Epike was a Conservative MP who was suspended by the party after serious allegations were referred to the police and was subsequently convicted of sexual assault. Mrs Milton added, I felt that the House of Commons, because allegations of misbehaviour and sexual harassment or sexual assault brings the House of Commons into disrepute, and the House of Commons needs to deal with that. Of course it needs to be dealt with, but we need a vocal point of where it's going to be dealt with. That's the problem. Is that David Bowie's mum? Oh God, yes. Oh, number 3. That's yeah, it's oh Jesus. Jell says, would the police accept a formal complaint from a citizen about an MP? Are they competent? They would take it, but whether they would take the complaint, but whether they would push on it is another matter, you know. If massive complaints made, then they have to, in my opinion. Yeah, I think if a number of people, I agree with Keir there. I think if a number of people kind of push the envelope, yeah, for it, then you get people really talk. Then the police are kind of like, oh, we have to. They'll be like, they'll have to get off their backside and do it. Not to say that police are lazy, but they're reluctant to go. I would say the police would be reluctant to look into one complaint. If there are multiple complaints on one person, then they have to take it more seriously. I think that's probably the best way to take. Most of Europe, Jal says, would go to the equivalence of the district attorney's office. Maybe there's a need of such a mechanism. That's a good idea, possibly. It's an idea. It's definitely an option. That's something to be considered. That's for sure. Right. So, whips not equipped. You need a process that should be handled by an external organisation who are professionals and to investigate allegations swiftly. She said the whip's office was an instrument of the party's leadership, and in the case of the government, it's the role to get the government's business through Parliament. The Chief's office do not have the HR skills needed. Mrs Milton said Parliament absolutely needed HR professionals. Trying to crack a nut of MPs acting like small business is quite difficult nut to crack, but using an external agency to resolve workplace issues is not difficult. Neither Parliament nor the whip's offices are equipped to do it. This is highly specialised stuff. She said whips could remove the whips from the MPs, but that's a political party decision. So the whips are kind of saying, like, look, we're here to make sure you toe the party line. And what the leader kind of says is, we don't really deal with this kind of stuff. That's what they're trying to say, from the sounds of it. The whip shouldn't be enacting sanctions as part of a complaints process. It may be considered prudent by a political party to withdraw the whip pending an investigation. I think investigations, depending on I think it depends. It should depend on what the case is. I mean, if we're talking about sexual allegations or sexual conduct, should they have the whip withdrew? Now, let's bear in mind, yeah, some of them could turn out to be completely innocent, because we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful to jump to conclusions, you know, because some people who are accused of certain things are end up found to be innocent. So, is it right? So, what do you guys think? Do you think withdrawing the whip should be done on certain cases? I think certain cases, yes. Other cases, probably not. If there's like multiple allegations or complaints against a certain MP, then I think the whip should be withheld pending the investigation. But if it's one case, there may be a need to not withdraw the whip until perhaps quite deep into the investigation, and if they find more evidence, then the whip should be withdrawn from them. Maybe. It's not an easy one to kind of deal with, to be fair. Current MPs have also raised the concerns about the lack of HR professionals to deal with such cases like this. One Conservative MP said, where does the buck stop? The whips, the police, the speaker, there's also the parties. I don't see any formal coming together of those. Yeah, there needs to be a decision needs to be made, and it needs to be cross-partied. cross-party decision needs to be made on that, on how they do it. Parties often live in fear of someone saying, "Why don't you take action?" That's where the judgment comes, they added. This MP said that while they still wanted to say who the staff was, "I do not think there's a benefit in more HR support for MPs. I'm not a HR expert." They compare MPs employing their own staff with Parliament dealing with 650 small businesses. So what is proposed? So another former chief whip, the BBC, spoke to echo the argument for external supervision, saying the role of the whips was to look after their flock, not just to sit in judgment of them, and to persuade them to vote their party the right way. On Monday, MPs will debate proposals to bar some MPs under criminal investigation for violent sexual misconduct from setting foot in Parliament. The proposals have been drawn up by the House of Commons Commission, a body of senior MPs which oversees the working of the Commons following a consultation. If approved, the plans could allow MPs or peers to be barred from the House of Parliament if they are deemed to pose a risk. The exclusion would apply to the parliamentary states in Westminster and any parliamentary funded travel. MPs are being asked to have their says on the plan, but a formal vote has yet to be arranged. The Commission has proposed that if the parliamentary authorities were presented with any credible allegations of a sexual or violent offence by the police at any point in the criminal justice process, a staff panel would assess the claims. If the panel undertook a full risk assessment on the basis of information provided by the police, it would consider the nature of the alleged misconduct and whether there were any self-safeguarding concerns. If this led to exclusion being recommended, this would be put to an adjudication panel for a decision. Under the proposals, excluding members would get a proxy vote, so their constituents but were not disadvantaged. The BBC has been told there is some disagreement on the plans, with a number of MPs arguing members should not be excluded unless they are charged by the police, and others arguing that the threshold for exclusion should be lowered. One former chief whip said excluding people who had not been charged flew against natural justice. Allegations can be made against a member of Parliament that may be false and that may be in a vexatious way. Mrs Milner says she believes Parliament should be able to vote on excluding MPs from the Commons because it was quite a serious issue democratically. It's MPs' jobs to hold the government to account. If you're going to withdraw an MP's ability to do this on behalf of their constituents, that's serious enough for the whole House to make a decision. Yeah, it's a difficult one, that's for sure. But something needs to be done. What have you guys said? Keir agrees with me. Maybe we should have better vetting process for those wishing to become MPs. Yeah, I think that's definitely something that should be considered, Vincent. I definitely agree with that. We need a decent consultation with teeth. Yeah, consultations. Yeah, very agree with that one. Agree with that. Definitely number 3. There need to be more careful. I agree. Madbug says in response to Vincent, I agree. So if your ambition is to become an MP, then you should be banned from becoming one. Okay. Sorry, am I misreading that, guys? Number 3, agreed. A consultation bans a lot of free judgment and regulations that works here since 1974, says Jow. 6 months as PM by lottery and everyone in the UK, says Hansakir. Yes. No law can be contrary to the fundamental rights written in the Constitution. A law like the one banning protest would be impossible here, says Jow. Keir says, in my opinion, are better than the ones we've had. Simon says 55 says in response to Madbunk, quick easy tip: if you make eye contact with a cat, blink slowly and it says I am afraid. Cat might scratch you if you do that, Madbunk, so I would not recommend that. Do MPs have CBR checks? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure someone in the chat will ask that. That is for sure. Right, just gonna swap. I've got another funny video ready for you guys. As I said, I had 3 videos for you guys. I'm spoiling you guys today. From one of the greats. We got the official statement from Boris Johnson, guys. The official statement. Let's hear what he had to say.
I'm leaving Parliament statement for The Spectator, but apparently not everybody reads The Spectator these days. Well, let me tell you, they did when I was editor. Things have gone downhill since I left, which has become rather a pattern. So apparently I need to do this video version when all I really want is to be left alone with my loved ones, the other MPs who resigned this week. They are brave, brave people. I will never forget the names of Nadine, Doris, and another N, Nick, Nigel. I will never forget Nigel. And I'll also never forget the names of those MPs who said that they'd reside with me and then didn't. I can't believe they lied to me. It's horrible being lied to, isn't it? To add insult to injury, I was forced to resign on the same day that my resignation honours, from a different resignation, were published, with some notable absences. I'm sorry, Nadine, you'll always be a lady to me. I mean, yes, they did allow me to give an MBE to my hairdresser, which was great banter, but then they wouldn't allow me to give a knighthood to the chemist who sells me my prophylactics. I'm joking, obviously. I don't use contraceptives. But look, this is serious. I've been forced out by a vast conspiracy. I would use the word blob, but someone would just use that as an opportunity to make a crack about my physique. But you know who I'm talking about. The lefties, the Remainers, above all the women, Sue Gray, Harriet Harman, Rishi Sunak, who've all tried to drag me down to their level. They're jealous of my masculine vitality and would do anything to reverse my beloved Brexit, which we all know has been a great success already and could be an even greater success. And if you'd only let me stay in Parliament, I could have explained exactly how successful it could have been.
Yeah.
But now you'll never know. I mean, this whole partygate thing has been nonsense on stilts from the beginning. I could never knowingly or recklessly mislead anyone, because that would mean I could distinguish in my own mind between things that are true and false, and that is simply not how my mind works. I have been an MP since 2001. I take my responsibilities seriously, and I have also always had a laser focus on my constituency. Well, apart from the fact I was also London Mayor for a bit of time in between. I also was an MP for a different constituency, but apart from that, laser focused on my constituency. I mean, look, I can't keep things straight in my own head. How could I possibly be a liar? This committee was egregiously biased. It was made up of loads of people who weren't me, so they were always going to rule against me. Look, I don't want to use the word witch hunt, because my mate Donald has very much cornered the market on that one. But no, this was a kangaroo court. Yeah, not in a good way, where they all bounce around and the wallabies have a go on the gavel. When I left office last year, we were only a handful of points behind in the polls. And as every woman around me knows, I have very large hands. Why has the government abandoned signing a trade deal with the US? If I was still Prime Minister, we'd have signed 2 trade deals. One real one just for fun. I am extremely proud of all of my achievements in office, which I don't have to go into here. Kidding. Brexit, Ukraine, vaccines, all the hits. Plus the biggest majority ever, as far as I'm aware. I'm very sad to be leaving Parliament. For now. Let's just say, maybe I'll return in the future as the leader of a new party, as long as that doesn't involve any work. I am, above all, appalled and bewildered, most of the time. But particularly in this instance by the fact that I am being brought down by a committee led by a woman. I mean, come on, lads, really? Bozza being brought down by Hazza? Ridiculous. But for now, let's just say, I'll be back. No, I've done that already, haven't I? Okay. Hasta la vista. But, oh no, I did that one too. How many resignations do I have to do? Why won't people just let me rule them in peace? Okay, here's a sign off I haven't done yet. Why don't you all just fuck?
Oh Jesus! Oh Matt! Oh God! That yeah, that I haven't seen that. That was oh God, Matt, he is so good. Oh, hail the orb, guys! There's the orb. There it is in all its glory, and we'll see plenty of that in the after chat, guys. The fact, I mean. Good evening, Kendra. Good to see you here. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Hope you had a nice weekend. Right, where are we at? We still got plenty of time, guys. I've got what have I got? I've got 2 more articles for you guys, and then we'll probably just actually, before we just go to the next article, so I'll just give you guys a rundown, like, because I did say I would give you guys. Let you guys know what's going on in terms of content. So I am going to try and stick to 6 videos a day, 4 shorts and 2 main videos. So I'm still going to try and do one at 9 AM and one at 3 PM UK time, and try to do 6 AM shorts, 12 PM shorts and 6 PM shorts, and if possible then a 9 PM shorts as well. So that's video dropping every 3 hours pretty much throughout the day, guys. I will try to continue to do that. I'm not off till Thursday, but so far I was able to make it work. So I do have content, 6 videos dropping tomorrow for you guys. Lots of plenty there for us, and obviously I will be there. I'm pretty sure I'll be there for Max's live stream tomorrow as well. But just a reminder for you guys as well, please do tune in to Wednesday's Snowflake show. It will be the last one me and Lee will be doing for a while. We will explain on the show why. Another update, guys, I will put this in the community post here for you guys, and I'll remind it on the Discord server. I am going to be on holiday next week, and I will be going abroad as well, so I won't even be in the country. So that will mean obviously there will be that I may or may not have content. I can't answer that right now. Will there be a live stream next week? No. But will there be a Snowflake Viewpoint next week? Possibly. So what I mean is what I might do for you guys, because I have all day Sunday before I officially fly out to where we're going. I may do a hour video of different articles for you guys and kind of premiere it on there, so that you on the same time as we're doing now, so that you guys can all come in the chat and can discuss about the article, say hello to each other, kind of just have general chit chat amongst each other while watching the content. So there would be a Snowflake Viewpoint, but it just wouldn't be live, but it would be able one you guys can be all together there. So if you guys have any other suggestions or thoughts, or maybe if you think maybe that's not ideal, or maybe just wait until the following week, let me know, guys, in the comments. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I will be away next week, so I won't even be in the country. So let's move swiftly on to the Guardian. The Guardian, guys. Ministers refuse to back Hancock's COVID claim of protective ring for care homes. So the I'm using the wrong. Let me put myself back on the screen. Yeah, that's a bit better. Am I covering? Oh no, that's no good. I'm covering. Let's try that one. Oh no, that's no good either. That's better. There we go. So I'm not covering it. Check the passport to make sure it's valid. I have checked it. Passport is valid. I have checked all that stuff, Kia. I'm not going to say where I'm going, but I have gone through all that stuff, mate. So, but yeah. So Matt Hancock has not gone away, guys. He needs ministers to back him, apparently. So Helen Whatley declines to endorse the former Health Secretary's 2020 assertion that as a pandemic public inquiry begins in earnest. The Care Minister, Helen Whatley, has declined to back Matt Hancock's claim that the government threw a protective ring around the care homes at the start of the pandemic. Whatley worked under the former Health Secretary in the first 18 months of COVID, but she avoided endorsing her former boss' assertion, which will be tested at the public inquiry, which starts in earnest this week. That will definitely be interesting to watch, and I'm sure our good friend Daily Blase will likely cover that, guys. So if you're not a subscriber to Daily Blase, you should definitely check him out. He's really on a roll with his videos, guys. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Asked whether Hancock was right in May 2020 when he told Parliament, "We absolutely did throw a protective ring around social care." Whatley told The Guardian that she wanted to use my own words, which is what I look back on, doing everything I felt we could do to help care homes and social care more broadly, at an incredibly difficult time. In the first wave of the pandemic, there were almost 27,000 excessive deaths in care homes in England and Wales compared to the 2015-2019 average. The virus penetrated care homes so widely and so fast that 13 homes in England saw 24 or more COVID deaths each in just 11 weeks at the start of the pandemic, the official figures have revealed. Yeah, not nicer here. Johnson, the heavily censored. Oh no, the snowflakes are splitting up. No, that's not what's happening, Mad Monk. Well, that's not. No, it's not. The show is not ending or anything like that. To be clear, it's not ending. No, to be clear. Yeah, guys, Mad Monk has just put the Daily Blase's YouTube channel for you guys. I'm not a subscriber. I'm pretty sure the vast majority of you are. But if there's one person in the chat who is not, go in and subscribe. Definitely fantastic content. He does really good stuff there. But tune in on Wednesday to the Snowflake show for we will explain everything then, guys. Don't don't worry, it's not the end of the Snowflake show. I'll stress that it's not the end of the Snowflake show. That is not what's happening, guys. Where was I here? Right, evidence sessions examining the UK's preparedness for the pandemic start this week, and Hancock, who resigned from the government in June 2021 after breaking lockdown rules, is due to give evidence this month. Lawyers for trade unions are expecting to highlight the chronic underfunding of social care and the fragmented provision in an opening statement to the inquiry this week. Government policy at the start of the pandemic of not requiring the isolation of untested hospital patients discharged into care homes has already been ruled illegal in the High Courts, where judges describe it as irrational. I look back on it of how hard it was at the time we were trying to get PPE out to social care, Watley said. We had so few tests available. She added, I know looking back on it, it was very hard in those early days. We were really doing all that we possibly could. Still, it was really hard because people who were living in care homes were particularly vulnerable to COVID, as we all know. Yeah, they were vulnerable. And people with COVID were sent to those care homes to free up hospital beds. Labour's Liz Kendall, the shadow care minister, seized on the comments as an admission by the Conservatives in what the country could see. Their protective wing was an insult to staff, families and care home residents who were not vulnerable for voices. That's another thing we should also mention. Carol Vorderman, what an absolute, like her, if you guys did not see the interview of Carol Vorderman with James O'Brien, or with Politics Joe, she has been a staunch, absolute fantastic woman with the work she's doing right now as well. You know, the analysis that she was talking about from Breast for Britain with James O'Brien, absolute fascinating numbers. You know, her saying, you know, based on their numbers, like, people are not letting partygate, they're not letting, you know, COVID go, you know, their people died, you know, and absolutely right. And I, you know, regardless of party loyalty or whatnot, you know, when people's lives are deeply affected by decisions made by the government, they do not forget so easily, especially when it's one of their loved ones, guys. Carol Vorderman for PM. I don't know if you want to be Prime Minister, but I would certainly like to see her in politics. But it's, you know, it drives her just, I'm sure it drives her just as insane as anybody else. But, yeah, she is absolutely staunch. It's good to have more celebrities kind of coming speaking out, and we need more of that, guys. We really, really do. I'm just hearing if you're hearing the door creaking, apologies for that in the background. I will be telling somebody off later about that. We said, I think I said this bit. I did. She said, for the 43,000 families mourning the loss of their care home resident, nothing will bring their loved ones back, but they will be looking to the inquiry for answers and lessons to be learned. Leaked WhatsApp messages already revealed Watley warned Hancock against restricting visits to care homes in October 2020, said it would be inhumane and some elderly people were just giving up. Earlier on April the 8th, 2020, she urged Hancock we should be testing all care home residents and staff who had COVID contact, irrespective of symptoms. Duh, makes sense. Pretty obvious. Don't take any chances. Let's just make sure, let's just check them all and let's be sure. However, care homes were not able to start testing residents on staff without symptoms until the end of April. She also complained to Matt Hancock that PPE supplies were all over the place and that discharging hospital patients into care homes was my biggest concern. The Chancellor Jeremy Hunt, who preceded Hancock as Health Secretary, has also been called as a witness in the module starting this week on pandemic preparedness, alongside David Cameron and George Osborne, who are set to be asked about the impact of their austerity policies from 2020 onwards on the nation's readiness. By the way, if you guys didn't see as well, there are victims, obviously, of COVID who wanted to speak in the inquiry were not allowed to, or weren't invited to as well. If you didn't already see that video that I covered, which is absolutely disgusting, in my opinion, that they're not being able to. I mean, I'm glad that David Cameron and George Osborne are going to be questioned, but I kind of want those who have. I want a bit of I want a bit of the human side of this as well, to remind people, hey, these people lost loved ones. Let's remind people of that. You know, I'm just saying, guys, I think it's very important. The module on care homes is not due to start from witnesses until spring 2025. Broader government's handling for social care, which looks after over 1 million people in England, have been widely criticised. Let's just see what you guys are saying in the chat. Keeping us in suspenders then, regionally. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything until I've had a more private discussion with Lee, and wait till Wednesday on that. Okay. Jal says, I like Daily Blase's comments when we are talking so down to earth and funny. I recommend it. He is very down to earth. I hope I get one day to meet that man. He's absolutely lovely. Yeah, right. They really care for us. No, they don't. Yeah, I know. Number 3. Yeah. Sent knowing that some of them had COVID. Yeah, Vincent. Exactly. Few, it's good to know it's not the end of the snowflakes, but I've got something else to list. Yeah. Again, we'll talk about it on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the rest of Europe, care homes are similar, where were literally isolated. You could not enter a care home. People visited their loved ones behind windows. Yeah, as sad as it was, it had to be done that way. You had to just don't take any chances. Nobody wanted to lose a loved one. I'll be looking for justice and prison terms. I hope you get some. I hope you get some kind of comfort from this. Number 3, in all seriousness. 2 care homes just up the road from me have gone into liquidation due to high food and energy costs. Very successful till the profiteering from the big companies. I'm sorry to hear that, Bad Bun. It's never nice when things go bust or go down. Whitewash inquiry? I hope not. One angry pagan says, and my king, look aside for me ignoring government advice through the pandemic. I followed the science and behaved accordingly. Yeah. Members of the public in Scotland are being actively asked to contribute to the Scottish COVID inquiry, says Vincent. Yep, that's the way. I'm glad that is. That video was great, REGANELITE. Sad but great. My little nephew saw it. He could not believe the victims' families were not heard. Yeah, I know, Joe, it's absolutely horrible. Yeah. Oh my God, where are we are for time? Looks like we're not going to be covering the. I had one more article from Al Jazeera, but we're not going to cover that, guys. It is in America, but looks like it's all going to be from the UK today. It is estimated that an extra 480,000 care workers are needed in England by 2035, and there are already 165,000 vacancies. In 2020, when Hunt was out of government under Boris Johnson and chaired the Commons Health and Social Care Select Committee, he said the annual social care budget must rise by $7 billion by the end of 2024. The Health Foundation charity estimates the funding gap will be $9.3 billion by next year, but last autumn the government raised spending by equivalent to $3.75 billion a year. Watley told the Guardian there had been a big workforce challenge over many years. The thing that I hear from the front line is that we need to be able to pay the care workforce better, she said, and for that we need better funding to come through local authorities for the care rates. Asked if the latest $7.5 billion increase in central government funding over 2 years was the right amount, she said, I want to see social care really well funded, but I'm not making the decision for how all of government is funded. I will argue the corner for my sector. Today in England, about 10,000 people live in the worst inadequate care homes, where problems are often caused by lack of staff. After she accepted staff shortages were causing pain and suffering, she said, you understand if I choose my own words, but I know for some providers, staffing is one of the biggest challenges. Really good care homes have staff there for a long time, but others are finding it really difficult. I think we'll see quality of care improvement if we help providers retain staff. She said increasingly recruitment of care staff from overseas by adding them to the shortage occupation visa list was helping them in the short term, but was not a long-term answer. I want everyone to be in a good, if not outstanding, care home, she said. That's why I think the workforce reforms and the funding for social care are really, really important. But I don't think anybody sitting in my position could come in and fix it in 24 hours. This is a long term problem. It is a long term problem, that is for sure. It is a long term problem. And people are, my fear guys, and I pray to God I am wrong, is that I really pray, you know, that I really pray for this, I really do, and that nobody that there is some justice in this, you know, because I do feel like sometimes governments try to drag things on and on and on and on. You know, remember the Hillsborough the Hillsborough disaster, that dragged on and on and on. The Windrush scandal is dragging on and on and on. I just feel like, you know, people are entitled to some form of justice, guys. I really do, and I you know, and I was in the belief, you know, I thought I was doing the right thing, like everybody else, you know, following the following the COVID lockdowns and staying at home. Because I work in a non-essential retailer, I was stuck at home, being paid by the government, not being able to do anything, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. You know, I don't like being stuck at home in a box. And one time I went out for a walk, believe it or not, guys, and I got stopped by the police, questioning whether if this was my only walk. I went to the local park, because that was when I was living independent as well, when it happened, when COVID struck. It's just it's pretty. It was a very difficult time for everyone, and I was I did lose my granddad during the pandemic, but we don't believe it was due to COVID though. He was already he was not in good health anyway, to be fair. He was in the care home. I don't think it would have been you know, it's he was in his 90s, you know, so I can't really complain, to be fair. What else are you guys saying? We need people. Yes, Left Bow, we do need more people. I've had a letter about a possible traffic light offence. I want to check the evidence, but can't log into their systems yet. Nobody responds, and the phone queue was 32 people before me. Oh, good God, line 3, it's terrible to hear. Gotta go and let the doggies out before it gets dark. Take care of that. Take care, Vincent. Thanks for coming by. Really appreciate it. It's the war of attrition, deliberate policies, where the complement's down. Yeah, it is number 3. It is. So I've got one more video for you guys before I hit the outro button, but before I do, guys, just want to say a massive thank you guys for joining me on the Snowflake Viewpoint. I don't know whether or not there'll be a one next week or not. It won't be a live stream, but if I do one, it will premiere at the same time. It will just be an hour, roughly an hour's video of content, and you guys can basically be in the live chat for you guys to mingle with each other while watching some interesting discussions in politics and whatnot, guys. It's interesting. This is the first one I've done where it's been all UK news as well. I do like to cover the odd world news as well. So I do have quite a bit of UK news dropping tomorrow. Quite a few articles dropping tomorrow, to be fair. I think I only got 1 or 2 from around the world, to be fair. Obviously the big one is over in America. Yeah, definitely worth checking out. Tomorrow 3 p.m. The article I'm dropping is about, you know, we talk about all the money being lost in the UK. I'm gonna be talking about the money being lost in the US, and we're talking more than billions, more than trillions of dollars, guys. It's absolutely insane amount of money. Definitely be fascinating. It's about 20 minutes long, not gonna lie, it's a long video, but I think it's definitely a fascinating one, to say the least, guys, if you want. So guys, thank you guys so much for coming by, really appreciate it. Got one more video for you guys before I hit the outro button. If you guys can join us in the Discord after the show, we greatly appreciate it. Oh, I should do this while I have the orb will be there. Oh, how the orb, as you guys well know, it's a very old orb. I've had it for quite a while, guys, but it's still going, and I've just knocked my drinks over. Luckily they're not in cups, otherwise I would be panicking right now. But yeah, guys, thanks you guys so much for coming along and supporting supporting it as well. But we cannot go out without our most important man of the hour, the man from Portsmouth, guys.
Is in Portsmouth. Hello,
Why are people booting an honest man out of the door again?
This is Boris Johnson, isn't it, Colin? Again.
But the last time, Anthony, he had a bit of cake while people couldn't have cake at their own relative's funeral.
Yeah.
It's also overblown. And now we can't even give knighthoods and damehoods to the people who stood by him. Nadine Dorris, the stuff she did for him, it will make your eyes water. She worked harder than an NHS nurse on him, and now she's been cast aside like a crinkled tissue. It's disgusting. Just because she's thick as snot, that shouldn't be a reason to exclude her from a position of even greater power.
Well, others are thick as snot, and they got through. Some people did manage to sneak through Rishi Sunak's net, Colin.
So Jacob Rees-Mogg, thank God he did. That man's been fighting against the elites for years. It's about time one of us got some status.
What about some of his special advisors? There's one that's 29 years old. People think she might be his daughter or something,
People
Colin.
say he don't care for his 15 children. Well, that's love right there. He should be applauded. Made Father of the Year. And if she's not his daughter, well, her qualifications speak for themselves.
Yeah,
And his
yeah.
hairdresser getting an OBE, having to deal with his hair, she deserves nothing less.
Honestly, Colin, I mean, you're saying it, but it's pretty much an utter disgrace that he's got to be given any honours at all,
A
isn't it, Colin?
disgrace! Well, you should wait till Liz trusts others.
Wow.
This is a cakewalk in comparison. Just wait until Liz gives Kwasi Kwarteng a knighthood for his services to mortgage rates. All his hard work to keep bailiffs in business will finally be rewarded. Anyway, mate, thanks for having me on. Love to the family.
Love to the family, Colin. Love to the family.
I gave my daughter Tesco club card points in my name. Is that a crime?
Thanks you guys for watching. Take care and have a great week, everyone.